Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. In a moment, I'm going to bring you this week's episode of Mathew Slade. But first, I do want to encourage you, if you're enjoying the podcast, to follow us using your favorite podcast software. And also, our listener support and appreciation campaign continues, and you can support the show for as little as $2 per month by going to patreon.greatdetectives.net. But now, from November 8th, 1964, here is Passage to Tangiers.
From Hollywood, welcome to Starlight Mystery Theater and another episode in the series, Mathew Slade, Private Investigator. We invite you to take your seat as Slade unfolds Passage to Tangiers.
In my job, the hours are odd. So are the circumstances and the people I meet. You could even call some of them dangerous. My calling card reads, Mathew Slade, Private Investigator.
Morocco, where ancient history peers over your 20th century shoulder. Land of the unusual, of white walled-in cities with narrow terraced streets, dotted with forlorn, desolate beggars, of bazaars where you can barter for anything from fine silks to an evil eye. Land of the wandering street vendor, hawking grilled camel liver, sticky sweets, and hot mint tea. Morocco. Land of the broiling African sun. Land of mystery. Intrigue. Up until its independence in 1956, Morocco was split into 3 zones: French, Spanish, and the international zone of Tangiers. That's where I was sent to meet them. At my office in San Francisco, I'd received an envelope postmarked Kashmir. Inside were 5 $1,000 bills, an airline ticket, and a note that read, "Your services required immediately. Enclosed part payment. Kindly meet us on the 23rd instant. Hotel Carthage, 14 Place Malakoff, Tangiers." It was signed, Mr. Peters and Associates. It was now the 25th. I'd arrived in Tangiers 2 days ago and checked into the hotel as directed. There was no Mr. Peters registered, nor was one expected. I waited 3 more days. Still no Mr. Peters. It was the 28th. I was in the Carthage bar sampling a brandy, lime, and soda. A bellhop handed me a telegram. It, too, had been sent from Kashmir. It read, "Unfortunate delay. Stop. Arriving tomorrow, the 29th. Stop. Mr. Peters and Associates." I downed the last of the brandy and soda, winked at a cute-looking French girl sitting alone at the bar, and then retired to my room. I'd been in bed about 2 hours. Suddenly, the lights went on. I turned my head, looking up into the muzzle of a Webley automatic.
"Hi, sir. I'm Mr. Peters."
Mr. Peters. Short, overly large. He wore an outdated, double-breasted white suit, the kind they make up in Hong Kong for $10. He wore a fez. From behind thick, black, horn-rimmed glasses popped huge brown eyes. Over by the door stood a tall, lean, good-looking man of about 55. He was decked out in a British officer's uniform, the kind they wore in India at the turn of the century. He carried his swagger stick. A black patch covered his left eye, a monocle his right. He held a pith helmet under his arm. He looked like something out of Gunga Din. "So, you're Peters. Welcome to Tangiers. And if you don't mind, would you remove that instrument from my face?"
"It was a sort of test. You passed with flying colors. I'd have been unhappy to find I'd hired the services of a man who cringed at the sight of a revolver confronting him. You, sir, did not blink an eye. I like that. Say it again. You passed with flying colors. Would you agree to that, Jack?" Flying colors, Peters, old boy. Come forward, Captain. I am Captain Jack O'Shaughnessy of Australia. Aye, sir. Standing alone. My cutlass raised, faced 50 of the demons as they came charging through the pass. Aye, sir, unafraid of... Yes, Captain. Mr. Slade will hear about that some other time. We've but 20 minutes to make our connection.
Connection?
We leave immediately for Zagora. If you'll be kind enough to dress and gather your belongings, sir...
Or would you kindly get that gun out of my face?
I wouldn't hesitate to wound you should you not rise immediately, sir. You're a member of my company and disobeyed such an order, I'd have had you horsewhipped. I tell you, Peters, in the old days... Yes, Captain. You go on down to the front desk and take care of Mr. Slade's account. No doubt about it. These young people need them.
Is he all right?
Jack? Oh, yes. He likes to go back into the past. Now, sir, our train departs in 16 minutes. Shall we proceed? Hold the train, conductor. Now, come, Mr. Slade, Captain, quickly.
Would it be asking too much of you gentlemen to inform me as to where we're going?
Shall we begin by beginning at the beginning? And the man... If you'll excuse me, gentlemen, I have to... You'll find it to your left, Captain. Thank you, Peter. As I was about to say, a man worth knowing is a man worth knowing.
Get to the point.
It's like this. We require the services of a man of strength, a man of cunning, one able to think fast, who take command of the situation at hand, one able to use his fist and, if necessary, a gun. We, sir, are embarking upon a most dangerous journey, one that may entail the loss of life.
Whose life?
Well, let us say that that will depend upon you.
I don't know who's more confused at this point, me or that half-witted captain.
Now, don't let Captain Jack hear you express that term. He can be mighty dangerous when provoked. So, I say to you, it is I, Captain Jack. I've returned. I left Australia as a young shaver to join the Bengal Lancers. I served most of my time in the interior of India, fighting tribesmen sworn to wipe out British rule. In 1940, I enlisted with an Australian force in the Middle East in the fight against Rommel. At the close of the war, I became a man of the world, a regular soldier of fortune, you might say. I served under many flags. I'm presently a dealer in artifacts. That's how I met Peter. Yes, that was in Damascus, crossroads of the world. I was born and raised in that city of cities. There I met the captain, quite by accident. We were both at an auction, bidding on a bronze falcon, bidding against one another, each pushing the price higher and higher. The good captain whispered in my ear the splendid suggestion that we pool forces and purchase the falcon together. Well, this we did. We then formed a partnership, later selling the falcon at a handsome profit. About a month ago, we were in Istanbul. The captain read of a series of valuable artifacts that had been buried in various places throughout the world by Mussolini. One item of particular interest to us was a gold medallion, a full 8 inches in diameter. On good authority reported to be worth in excess of, in your currency, $1 million. Should we find it, you will be in for a third.
Then it's the medallion we're after.
Correct. It bears the name Medallion Remeli Hazar, which translated means Medallion of Death. It carries with it a curse. Sudden and unexplainable death has befallen all who have owned it. Anyway, the medallion has passed through the hands of some 11 owners. 30 years or so, it just disappeared altogether. It turned up in India in 1908, in Egypt in 1913, then it was purchased by Shah Agra Mahal of Persia in 1990.
How'd it get out here?
But during the war, it was stored for safekeeping by Mussolini.
You know the exact spot?
Approximate spot, yes. We extracted that information from a former Mussolini aide. Yes, we ran into the man in Istanbul a few weeks ago. During the war, he was captured in the desert by an Australian patrol and brought in for questioning. Captain Jack was the interrogating officer. He learned that the man had been sent by Mussolini to Zagora to bury a treasure. A strange coincidence. The captain spotted him in Istanbul hotel lobby working as a porter. He'd been hiding out in Istanbul, trying to save sufficient money to get to Zagora to retrieve the medallion. We managed to get him to draw a map of the area where he buried the medallion. He was to give it to us in return for our silence about his past, and 1/3 interest in whatever we reclaimed from the sale of the medallion. Our cagey Italian gave us the slip before we'd seen his map. We found him hiding out in Srinagar. And we confronted him with his treachery. Right then and there we made him draw us another map and hand it over.
How come he's not with you?
Chap mysteriously disappeared.
Where is it we're going?
to a small oasis some 40 miles south of Zagora. In all, it should take us 5 days. I see we're arriving at Sidi Bou Arfa. Shall we alight and partake of breakfast?
We'd be arriving at Fez around noon. Peters was sitting beside me reading Cairo on $2.50 a day. The captain was sleeping. I peered through the window, watched the barren countryside pass as the train rocked its way south. The motion and the heat of the day were getting to me. I dozed. Was awakened by Peters tugging at my arm.
Hey, come, we must leave the train.
Fez, ancient city of beauty. We stopped barely an hour, long enough to pick up equipment, hire a car, and driver. Our route led us southwest. The heat was becoming unbearable. Peter's huge frame was perspiring profusely. The captain was up front humming Waltzing Matilda. The heat didn't seem to disturb him in the slightest. The guide for the past hour had been driving at breakneck speed along a single-lane road. A blowout.
Pump the brakes, don't jam them on.
We'll all be killed, Peters. Oh, shut up, Jack, shut up. Fortunate indeed.
Rather exciting, wouldn't you say, Peter?
Now let's give him a hand to remove that wheel.
Tindara, chill, danger. By gad, sir, we're in for trouble. The horse, it's Tindara and his man. Assemble the machine gun.
Travelers, I am Tindara, Sheik of this desert region. You have wares to trade. Why do you hide behind those guns? Tindara, friend, come forward. No harm should be done you.
I say we let go with a jolly round of fire.
Keep that gun trained on them.
I'm an American. These are my friends. We're traveling to Zangora. We do not carry anything to trade.
American. American very rich. You have money, jewelry.
No, neither.
No money. Strange how you rent car, buy food.
We have a few francs, nothing that amounts to anything.
I don't believe. You tell Tindara a lie. I search.
Dismount from that horse. I'll put a bullet through you.
You give big orders to Tindara. You shoot me, my men will kill you and your friends. We have you outnumbered. You give us money, we give you your lives.
Look, let's avoid trouble. You take your men and ride off.
You are in no position to give order, American. I give order. I think we just kill you.
Captain, give them a warning burst.
We will be back, American, to take your head.
We arrived at Kinifra at sundown, checked into a small hotel situated in the heart of the market area. Peters set about hiring a Senegalese porter, mules, and 6 Bedouin tribesmen as an escort. We were in Peters' room, charting our course.
Lieutenant Valliere, Administrative Service, Foreign Legion.
Come in, Lieutenant.
A fellow officer. I salute you, sir.
And are you, sir?
And are you, sir?
Yes, Captain, that's enough of that. Now, what can we do for you, sir?
It has come to my attention you intend making the trip to Sagora. It's extremely dangerous crossing for foreigners unescorted. You'd be well advised to wait for the regular caravan.
Oh, the caravan doesn't leave for another 5 weeks. We can't wait that long.
I see. Then, gentlemen, if you insist upon making this trip, I cannot be responsible for your safety.
We'll be all right, sir.
I have heard that from many who have set out alone. For some, the trip was successful.
And for the others?
Waylaid, killed. I trust this will not be your fate. Arm yourselves well, and good luck. You will surely need it.
What is it? Instruct the guide to halt for camp here. We don't want to get lost in this storm. All right, driver, we'll set up camp over here for the night. Post 2 guards. Rig the tents over by the trees. Now let's get out of this storm.
At dinner here, an ancient walled-in city situated at the southwest base of the Atlas, we engaged a camel driver and 4 of his straggly dromedaries. We arrived at Zagora on the 6th day, bypassing the town to camp at the deserted Legion post 10 miles to the south. The fort looked like something out of Beau Geste. A faded and ripped tricolor flew from the lookout tower. I half expected to be greeted by an assistant director from Paramount.
Abdul, have the Senegalese unpack the equipment. We'll seek suitable quarters and follow with our personal belongings.
And close those gates and post a couple of your men on watch. Yeah, this looks like the officers' barracks. This'll be all right.
At dawn, sir. Let's lose no time to seek out our little dingus, the medallion Romeli Hazard. Abdul.
Slade, yes, what boss?
What are all these people doing here and these animals?
Berbers, what boss?
Berbers. Where did they come from?
From Africa, fat boss. They have lived here many centuries.
I know that, you fool. I mean, where did this bunch come from and who let them in?
They come during the night. From where, I do not know.
How dare you let strange people into the fort without my approval?
Mother, 1,000 apologies. Abdul not want to disturb you, fat boss.
Now, will you stop calling me fat boss?
Yes, boss.
Now, get that goat away from me. Look, it's trying to eat my shoe.
Tala, bad goat.
Now, what's all the commotion, Peters?
Well, Abdul let this wandering tribe in here. Could be mighty dangerous. Good morning, dear friends.
Isn't it a glorious morning?
Oh, shut up, Jack.
Let's get on our way. Another couple of hours and that sun will be broiling us alive.
Do you have the map, Captain, or has the goat eaten it? Under my gun belt.
Abdul will take 3 tribesmen with us and the Senegalese porter. The others will remain.
Oh, sorry, I got him okay. Oh, yeah.
You betcha. All right, let's mount up. We crossed the Moroccan frontier into Algeria. We were now 20 miles or so south of the fort and well into the Sahara. The mid-morning sun was firing off its burning rays. Sudden stabs of pain made me double up. I felt feverish. The hot red rays of the sun blinded my vision. The sand began to ripple and then roar like a huge surf. That was the last thing I seemed to remember. I was slowly brought to consciousness by the sound of someone digging. I was in a small winter. Abdul and the 3 tribesmen were stretched out beside their camel, sleeping. Peters and Jack were by the waterhole studying the map. The Senegalese was waist deep in a hole shoveling out sand. I rose and stumbled toward them.
Slade, good to see you up and about.
Doesn't look as though you're having much luck.
I can't understand it unless the Italian tricked us again.
Peter, he's uncovered something.
A small chest. But caution, man. Easy with it. Easy. Now, you give it to me. Go on. Now, you join the others.
It's locked, Peter. Yeah, force it open with this.
Remove the padding and...
By Jove, Peter, we've got it.
A veritable fortune lies in our hands, and by right of possession, it's all ours. Think of it, man. We're holding in excess of $1 million.
Topping, old boy. Topping.
A rare specimen. A beauty indeed. And it's all mine.
Ours, Peter. Ours.
Oh, yes, Captain, how right you are. Ours.
You say it's solid gold?
Oh, solid gold, through and through. Let's return to the fort. I don't want to spend another night out here. Abdul, get up, you lazy blighter. Get everything packed. We're moving out.
The medallion looked impressive and real, but something bothered me about it, something I couldn't pinpoint. It was dusk when we arrived back at the fort. Thin columns of smoke from the Berber campfires rose and trailed off into the night.
Now, what's he shouting about?
Postman comes. Tendala.
Close the gates. Captain, get that machine gun out here. Abdul, can we count on the Berbers?
Yes, boss. This fight.
Line them up around the wall and have the Bedouins cover the gate.
Yes. Tendala.
How's the gun over here, Captain? Here they come.
About 100 of them.
Come on, you demons. Look at them run. Come back, you cowards.
Hold your fire. Abdul, tell the Berbers to hold their fire.
They're regrouping.
Here they come. Here again, Slade. Oh, you've got them.
I don't think they'll trouble us anymore tonight. Now, Captain, you take over. I'm going down to get some sleep. Now, you'd better stay with them, Peters. Wake me at dawn, and I suggest you leave the medallion with me. It'll be safer in our quarters.
Safer with me along.
As you wish. Peters wasn't about to trust anyone with his prized medallion. He had it out the moment we reached our quarters.
Feel the sheer wealth. Doesn't it give you the strangest feeling to hold $1 million in your hands? Here. Touch. Be careful. Hold on to it, man. I can see that it was too much for you. Pass it back to me. Let's put it away for safekeeping.
The effects of sunstroke were still with me. The moment I hit the sack, I was out. I slept a full 24 hours. I was awakened by Peters tugging at my arm.
Wake up, man. Wake up.
What is it?
The captain and I have come to say goodbye.
Goodbye? What do you mean goodbye? Where are you going?
Arrangements were made in Tangiers for a small plane to pick us up on the 12th. That's today.
The plane seats only 4. And through an oversight, I failed to mention that there would be 3 people to take out. The pilot brought along his wife, and, well, understandably, he refuses to leave her behind. One of us must stay.
You can't leave me here.
Oh, have to, sir, must. I'm leaving you an additional $5,000 to cover any necessary expenses you may incur along the way. Abdul will see you back to Canifa. You can take a car to Fez and the train to Tangiers. As promised, when we sell the medallion, 1/3 will be sent to you. I've enjoyed having you along. You're a man after my own heart. It's been fun. Yes, fun. Well, shake my hand. And thank you, sir, for everything.
Good luck, old boy. You've been a jolly good sport about it all.
Goodbye, gentlemen. Abdul,
Yes, boss.
you wouldn't happen to have a camel going to Tangier, would you?
Plenty mad, boss. Tribesmen leave after fat boss paid them off. They steal my camels, leave me one donkey.
Yes, that's what I thought. Well, we can take turns at riding.
You plenty funny, boss. Don't have donkeys. Stolen by Baba.
Oh, no. Well, it's only a 10-mile walk to Zagora. Come on, I'll buy you a drink. Dateline, San Francisco. Today I got in from Tangier, exactly 2 months following that fateful day I received a telegram from Kashmir. If I ever run into those two angels, that's the way they'll end up. Angels. Oh, I nearly forgot. The medallion. It was a fake. When I accidentally on purpose dropped it, a fine crack appeared. I've been told solid gold doesn't do that sort of thing. I wonder how Peters and Jack reacted when they found out. If you happen by my office and see a sign that reads, "Don't call me, I'll call you," I know you'll understand.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Welcome back. Well, how do you know someone's an iconic actor when people are still evoking their performance 2 decades later? Mr. Peters is such an obvious Sidney Greenstreet character. Unlike some thinly disguised Maltese Falcon pastiches we've heard on this podcast, he's not a Casper Gutman character. He's a composite of a lot of Greenstreet roles, not only Gutman, but Senor Ferrari from Casablanca. The Fez particularly called that role to mind. There are probably a few other Easter eggs that Greenstreet experts might identify and refer back to a specific role, but those are the ones that stood out to me. And I have to say that I really enjoyed this episode. It was just a great old-fashioned treasure hunt with a lot of action, adventure, mystery, and fun characters, all compressed into a neat 21-minute package. They make the most of each minute in this, and it's just fun to listen to all the way through. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call Slade's action wise. Someone you've never met tells you to hop a plane to Morocco. It's generally not a good idea. However, unlike Golden Age detectives like Pat Novak, who can be persuaded to take stupid risk for $50, at least Slade really got a huge bankroll for putting his life at risk. And you have to give Peters credit for taking care of him financially, then shelling out a few thousand more to make sure that he was able to get home okay. Though given that the whole thing took 2 months away from Slade's main practice, he didn't really come out ahead on the deal. Maybe broke even, perhaps. But given the risk, the sickness, the heat, the discomfort, and the sheer amount of danger he ended up in during this whole case, I can understand why he's in no hurry to work with them again. I do wonder what Jonesy was doing this whole time, though I kind of suspect we won't find out. Alright, listener comments and feedback now. And we have a comment on YouTube from Mechanic6682 regarding the episode A Sweet Scent of Mystery. I suspected the advisor of killing the daughter. The twist was good, but the acting of the secondary actors was pretty flat. Well, I appreciate the comment, and I would say that there are maybe some of the secondary performances in Mathew Slade are not as good, but I guess it depends on how you count the secondary. I think the actress who played the mother who hired Mathew Slade, she actually did a pretty good job. But again, thanks so much for the comment. Then I received a Facebook message from Patton who writes, I was listening to the Mathew Slade Private Investigator podcast. I've been listening for a few weeks now and enjoyed the show, but is it played at a faster speed or higher pitch? The speakers seem to talk so fast. In today's episode, 4630, many of the voices appear to be familiar radio actors. Was the district attorney played by John Hoyt? I've been listening since the early Dragnet days. From then until now, you've improved exponentially. This is a professional podcast. We all appreciate you and the content you provide. Well, thanks so much. In answer to your question, while these are listenable, they are not as high quality as many other programs that we play. If I were to guess the root cause, I would say that they remind me most of a lot of the indictment episodes that I've heard. And many of these programs, indictment in particular, when you get to the late 50s, where if they were preserved at all, were preserved on tape, which to my ear just does not come across as well as the transcription disc, even if the tapes are more recent. If the transcription disc are properly taken care of, or even if there's some damage and it's corrected, when it is transferred and cleaned up, even just, a little bit, it sounds so beautiful and so crisp. And it's great when we have a series that has that quality, where it's a first generation transfer, where someone who knows what they're doing took the transcription disc and digitized the recording. That did not happen with any Mathew Slade episode we have in circulation. I can't tell you what exactly did happen, but not that. As to identifying actors, that is tough because of the issue that you identified with the quality. I mean, if I didn't know that, from documentation that Carl Swinson played Barney Flagg, I'd never guess in a million years that Carl Swinson was in this. And my exposure to John Hoyt is somewhat limited. The main thing I can recall him being in, just because I've just been recording these episodes, was he was in Shorty Bell, which is the Amazing World of Radio spring series that we're doing. But on that one, honestly, your guess is as good as mine. Thanks so much. Appreciate the comment. And now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day, and I want to go ahead and thank Doc. Doc has been one of our Patreon supporters since February 2016, currently supporting the podcast at the Shamus level of $4 or more per month. Thanks so much for your support, Doc, and that will do it for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us using your favorite podcast software. And if you're enjoying the podcast on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and mark the notification bell. All those great things that help YouTube channels to grow. We'll be back next Tuesday with the last episode of Mathew Slade, but join us back here tomorrow for Broadway's My Beat, where...
The crowd shivered against the rising mist, and against the memory that death had walked the carnival, that somewhere on the midway its wing had touched them. In the morning, I had a call to make to the place of one Gerald Pfuffman, Esquire, jewels, etc. That's what it said on the window. Inside, Gerald Pfuffman, Esquire, was very elegant, very etc.
Welcome to my establishment. Make yourself comfortable, browse, indulge, etc., etc.
Thank you, I will.
If you permit me, I could be of rather remarkable assistance. What you had in mind, was it for an amant, a girl, a mother, a wife, a souvenir of 20 years' splendid service in your splendid factory?
That would be nice. Could you make a replica of this in diamonds?
Dear boy, I can make a replica of anything in anything.
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and check us out on Instagram. Instagram.com/Great Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.